Okay, here we go. So we meet again in another video. So here's the next module in the course. I want to talk about some buyer profiles, first-time home buyers, relocation buyers, and investor buyers, move-up buyers, and downsizing buyers. Not looking at the slide here, so I got to remember. So here we go. We're going to share the screen, and this is not going to be a very long video, but I want to kind of give an overview talking about the different buyer segments that we work with as real estate agents. So here we go. Again, the honest real estate agent, the buyer course for realtors. We're going to talk about buyer profiles. And so here are the different types of buyers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about first-time home buyers, relocation buyers, buyers that move up, and buyers that downsize, and then investors. Now, there are many other types of buyer profiles. There's seniors, there's military, divorce, a lot of different buyer segments that you can focus in on if you want that to be your niche. But I'm just going to focus kind of on these four big ones: first-time buyers, relocation, moving up, downsizing, and investors. So when you're looking at first-time home buyers, just kind of give a profile of kind of their situation. And it's important for us as realtors, when we're helping our buyers, to understand their situation, what they're going through, and how we can help them from the beginning to the end to get to a successful closing. So a lot of times first-time buyers are very nervous. They're very anxious, and especially when they're meeting with us the first time, because this is all new and different to them. And a lot of times they don't ask questions. They just kind of take whatever we say as carte blanche. More first-time buyers are more sophisticated now because of the internet. They're definitely more informed, but a lot of times they don't have the experience that other buyers have. It's an unknown territory to them, and they need to be educated on the process. And when you're helping first-time buyers, this is a great opportunity for referrals, repeat business, because they know other people that could be buying for the first time. And then when you help them 4 or 5 years, 7, 8 years down the road, they can move up to a bigger house. What are the resources that we can provide to first-time home buyers? Well, you definitely need to give them a home buying guide. And I recommend to you that you put together your own home buying guide. Now, you can get that from your office. They might have like a template, but try to personalize it and try to weave in some of your, kind of expertise, kind of your knowledge in helping your buyer. You need to provide them a helpful and patient lender. You can create a video library of frequently asked questions that buyers ask. I know I provide to my buyers kind of a sheet of frequently asked questions that I get from buyers, and I talk about it in a needs analysis meeting because no question is too stupid, so you want to be able to help them. So creating a video library, you can do it on YouTube, you could password protect it, whatever, and you can give it only to your buyers. You can also create your own Facebook page and just upload your videos there, or a group, and then that way only people that have access to your group can see those videos. When you're helping first-time buyers, there's going to be more phone calls and more face-to-face meetings because they need more of a hand-holding to help them through the process. You need to remember the first time you bought a home. So remember that feeling that you had, what you went through. I remember when I bought my first home, I was in high tech, I was in sales, and I remember everything that happened and how I felt. And how I felt helps me when I'm helping other buyers today. Okay, relocation buyers, kind of their background, their profile, professionals, they're good on email, they're focused on learning areas where they're going to move to. The public schools, very important to them. The timeline is compressed. Sometimes you have a house hunting weekend and you got to go out and look at all the homes Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and you need to be able to find a home and help them. I know my record for helping a relocation buyer a few years ago when they moved here to from Boston, Friday afternoon to Saturday evening, we saw 34 homes in like 4 different cities. And that truly is my record. And this was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago when the market was such that there was a lot of inventory. Today, if I have somebody coming in from out of state on a weekend, I'll be lucky if I can show them 5 homes in their price range. So when you're helping a relocation buyer, compressed timeline. They might rent before they buy. That's okay. Maybe they're going to rent for 6 months. Maybe they're going to rent for a year. Maintain the relationship, help them through their relocation process, and you could still be their realtor. And when you're helping a relocation buyer, it's a great opportunity for repeat business because somebody who's relocating into an area is just as easily relocating out of that area within a few years because of their job. And if you're helping a lot of high-tech buyers, that's what happens if you're working with some of the really big high-tech companies. Some of the relocation buyer resources, put together a relocation guide. You can get a relocation guide from your office. Most offices are going to have companies are going to have a relocation guide they've put together over the years of all the information on local sites, local areas, city government stuff, Chamber of Commerce, a home buying guide, just like we talked about. You want to connect them with a lender who is experienced working with relo buyers because sometimes you need to be able to show 3, 4, 5, 6 months having a W-2 within the state that you're going to buy a home. Create a video library, just like we talked about with first-time buyers. When you're helping relocation buyers, a lot of them are high-tech, they're professional. You need to be very timely with your email. They are going to email you 11 o'clock at night. Make sure you get back to them by the next morning. What I always look at with a relocation buyer, help them understand the area first and then the homes. It's like a big funnel. Start big and then work your way down. So look at all the different areas and then focus on a house within a specific neighborhood that they like. Don't get so caught up on what they like in a kitchen, what they like in architecture. Make sure they understand the areas first. Now, moving up and downsizing buyers, coordination. Can they own 2 homes? So if they're selling their home, they want to buy another one, is it a conditional deal? Do they need money from their existing home to put it into the new home? Depending on your market, if they allow conditional deals, that's great. In my market right now, very hot sellers market, we cannot do conditional deals predicated on selling one home to buy another. So you've got to be able to help your buyer, who is also a seller, be able to coordinate that. Do they even need to sell their existing home? Sometimes they can own 2 homes or they can do a bridge loan. Work with your lender that you refer, talk about a bridge loan. I've helped buyers do that. Get the listing and then help them buy the home. So if they do need to sell, then you become a listing agent and then you're going to have to be able to help them. A great opportunity for referrals because they know a lot of people. Now the buyer resources, home buying guide, now you're a listing agent. So you got to become a listing agent. So you're wearing 2 hats. So now you're helping them sell a home and then buy a home. If you're helping them sell a home, pre-inspect the home in the early stages to make sure you can identify any potential issues, and then go through the standard listing process. You're meeting with your seller, you're reviewing their home, looking at what's been updated, what needs to be fixed, all that kind of stuff. And that's talking about providing resources of selling their home. And then you can create a video library for coordinating a sell and a buy. I'm big on videos, right? It's a great way for you to connect with people. You see me, I've got words here, I'm talking, you see my face, we're developing a relationship. You can do the same thing with your sellers, right? Here we go. I'm going to stop the share and I'm talking to you again. You see my face? That's why video is so powerful. Everybody, all of you as realtors, you need to start doing videos. Okay, so there's my video rant for today. So every time I can get that in, I want you to start doing videos. So thanks for listening to that. Now, investor buyers, you're going to help investors. It's a good niche. And this is what kind of their profile. Most of them are professionals. They're very savvy. They know the market. Usually, you need to know rental rates because they want to know that, and it's important for them. You need to know about remodeling and updating costs. You need to have an outstanding knowledge of your market historically and what's happening today and what you think is going to happen in the future. I know it's a little bit of fortune telling, but you need to have a sense of that. Investors, they don't buy or sell on emotion. Give them the facts and figures that they need. It's an investment. It's a business decision. So when you're helping investors, much different psychology than when you're helping a first-time home buyer. First-time home buyer is very emotional, right? It's their first home. It's something that's a big part of what they're doing. It consumes them. Investors, they've got tons of other stuff going on. They're professionals. They've got careers. They're busy. Buying a property is just a secondary part of their lives. So don't get offended if you're dealing with investors and they're not giving you full attention because it's not really important to them a lot of times. It's just a slice of what they're doing. Great thing about investors is it's a great opportunity for repeat business because if they're going to buy one investment property, a lot of times they're going to buy another one and then another one. And if you work really hard and you take care of your investors, you could have a pipeline of ongoing business every year from your investor buyers. Now, what are the resources that you need to provide to them? You can create an investment guide for your area, similar to like a relocation guide. You need to be able to provide to them rental information, the rates, the rental rates. You need to provide them information on the rental market. You know, when is a good time to rent? What are all the issues? Here where I live, Boulder, it's a college town. A lot of rentals in Boulder are university college students. So you need to be aware if that's something that's a part of your market. Public school information, because a lot of times people are going to rent. If they're a family with a couple of kids, they're going to evaluate schools. So if you're helping your investor buyer that wants to buy a single family home and rent to families that have kids, and we rent to everybody, fair housing, totally understand that. But when you're buying a house, the public schools are a component of that. So you want to make sure that they have good public schools, and you need to know that. Because again, investors are not going to research public schools, are not going to look at all the test scores and all that stuff. So you need to know that. You need to know the infrastructure, what's available in the area, grocery stores, shopping, gas stations, restaurants, all these kind of things. Recreation, like where I live, access to hiking trails, very important. I live in Louisville, 15 minutes from Boulder, but I can drive to Boulder in 15, 20 minutes, park my car. I could hike up Chautauqua. I could hike up South Boulder, and I know where that is. Now, if you have an investment property that is close to good access for hiking, like in my area, that's going to increase the value, but also increase the appeal from a renter's standpoint. And then lastly here, know which neighborhoods are on the way up. Know which neighborhoods and cities are on the decline. There was an area here with a financial meltdown, 07, 08. It was designated an area of declining value. Not good, right? I knew that. So whenever somebody would ask me about areas and that area came up in the discussion, we could talk about how values were going down and were not going up. Okay, well, that's it for this video. There's my resources again. A lot of you know all that. So thanks for being here, listening to this. If you have questions, feel free to email me. But I wanted to go over the profiles because I'm going to refer back to them. But I think it's also important for you when you're helping your buyers that you understand their situation, what a first-time buyer is going through, what a relocation buyer is going through, what a buyer is going through that's moving up or downsizing. Downsizing buyers, again, could be an emotional situation. Maybe they have to downsize because of financial situation. I had this happen. I was helping a seller a few years ago, husband and wife, kids were older going to college. They had to sell their house to be able to get money out of the house to help pay for their college education for their kids. And I never forget at the closing, we're at the closing table, and the lady, the wife, I mean, she broke down and started crying at the closing because it's such an emotional thing. She had been there for 12, 13 years. Her kids grew up there, and it was very, very sad for her. So the closing was not a joyous occasion for her. You need to know this. You need to know what your clients are going through. If you're helping military buyers, I don't do that, but I know some of you do. You understand their psychology more than I do. And if you have experience being the military and you moved all the time, you can relate to that, right? So that is something that is very powerful when you can relate to their situation. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next module.